We were born to sob and to howl, to shudder and shriek, to jump up, crack up, scream our lungs out, and be left speechless. This is the good stuff in life, and the all-new Contour from Cox helps us get right to it. Just say what you want, and your TV finds it. Speak, find, feel, and get right to the good stuff. Available to residential customers in select Cox service areas. Advertised features available with Cox Contour 2 digital receiver. Professional installation required. Other conditions apply.
You are tuning in to Goldilocks Productions presentation of a Magical Journey show with Reverend Bryan Rawls. Bryan is a certified psychic medium, certified Fairyologist and realm reader, light language channel, Extraterrestrial channel, Universal channel, certified Angelic Communicator and Facilitator, light code and star Chi code activator, certified Reiki master teacher, certified esoteric energetic acupuncturist, a certified sacred activations mastering me practitioner, a multi-dimensional galactic shaman, and a certified witchcraft ceremonial magical practitioner. Call in now to reserve your spot on the switchboard. The call-in number is 657-383-1895. Press 1 to take you out of listen mode only. Enjoy this magical and healing show.
Hello and welcome to the Magical Journey Show with your host, Reverend Bryan Rawls. Thank you for joining me this evening. I want to let everybody know the call-in number, if you're just now listening, to call-in number to ask my guest and myself a question is 657-383-1895, and then press the number 1. We are going to have a guest this evening, but she has not arrived just yet. But to do a couple of things before she gets here, I will open up the evening with some light language, and I would like to also announce the upcoming guest. The upcoming guest for the week of next Wednesday is a lady named Rachel Teawano, and then we will have a lady named Diana Houston on in the month of December. Okay, so but our special guest for this evening has finally arrived. So I would like to say a little bit about her before she actually comes on, because she's a dear friend, and as a conscious channel of light for over 12 years, Dr. Jean Logan received symbols and codes that are amazing little powerhouses that can transform health and life and well-being. Dr. Logan is a ordained minister, has a doctorate in nutritional healing, and has extensive knowledge of many types of alternative healing. She is the author of Unlocking the Power of the Glyphs, Sacred Symbols of Light, and the Symbols of Dawn, and recently released Sacred Symbol Healing Cards. I actually own all 4 of those products, and they are amazing. Her books are now in over 80 countries, with all profits going to provide services to indigenous children. Her books are available through Amazon, Barnes & Nobles, or her website, which is www.drjeanlogan.com. And the call-in number to speak to Dr. Jean and I is 657-383-1895. All right, and before I bring her on, I'm going to open up the evening with a little bit of light language. So everyone take a deep breath and relax and allow for this light language to bring in the energy so that you Velorokuluna kaiste, Sokoto Urma Kayate. Velor in a kina, Bakai in Urkata Ice. Velor in a Kate in Ora, Okumaka Ice, is to get more. The Ora Undekia Shata Ari and Erko, Pakoto Uri Dan in. The Uromo Kuna Kista, Hari Etani of a cook, Orina Kianta, Zatusta, Tanaki. And take a deep breath in, and just allow for that evening to open the energy for this evening. Breathe the energy in through the nose and out through the mouth. And now just relax and listen to the show. So without further ado, we are going to bring on Dr. Jean Logan. Dr. Jean Logan is a very, very special lady with a very special talent of empowering these small little symbols that normally go on the solar plexus as well as all other places within the body. So without further ado, let's bring on Dr. Jean Logan. Welcome, Dr. Jean Logan. How are you?
I'm fine, Bryan. I am delighted to be on your show. I'm doing great, and I see you're doing the same.
Yes, that is wonderful. Thank you for being a special guest. So tell everybody a little bit about yourself, what I didn't cover, as well as also a little bit about your books.
Okay, I'll tell a little bit about me. First of all, that I was one. I was not born with special abilities like you hear some people able to see and hear things. I was a terribly frightened child. Fear absolutely controlled my childhood, controlled my life. When I graduated from high school, I was given a chance for a paid-for college education, which I turned down because I was afraid I would have to get up and speak in front of people. I was afraid of everything. I didn't go swimming because I was afraid of the water. I mean, you name it, I was afraid of it. And when I was 18 and graduated from high school, I grabbed the first man who asked me to marry him because I was afraid nobody else would want me. So my whole life was just controlled by fear. So as being a one neurotic attracting another, I married an alcoholic and stayed with him because I was afraid nobody else would want me and that I couldn't get along without anyone. So I gradually crawled out of that hole, going to things like Al-Anon to help myself, and getting a job where they sent me to Dale Carnegie to help me with public speaking, and then on to Toastmasters. But I did not really have any abilities like many people do until one time I was meditating and I saw what looked like a blackboard on the wall with writing on it, and I felt that was telling me to try guided writing. And so I tried. Emptied my mind, and I went out on the deck and tried writing whatever came into my mind. And at first it was a page of gibberish. Then by the second page, I was getting something that made sense. I seemed to be getting some guidance from some nature spirits. And that was the beginning of my journey where I was connecting with my guides. And then the glyphs didn't really come till later. I was just fascinated by, for some reason I didn't know, by the word glyphs, and I looked them up on the internet and didn't have much luck. And then someone sent me a email that had a picture of a glyph in it that looked like a picture, and about what I wanted to mention in case somebody doesn't know what a glyph is A glyph is a small drawing that has meaning to it, or it can be a drawing on a tomb in Egypt, or even drawings on the caves in the southwest United States. It's just a drawing that has meaning to it.
Okay.
And so this picture, it looked like a centipede, and I thought, it said that this glyph would remove parasites that held fear in our body. And I thought, fear, that was the key word. That was what I thought, whatever it is, if it's going to remove fear, I need it. So I printed it out, and I cut it out, and the drawing ended up being on a piece of paper about 2 inches high, and it said, use with integrity. And I thought, well, what do I do with it? And I must have been guided, and I put it against my solar plexus. And no sooner did I do that when I felt this tremendous activity in my liver. It was like something jumping around in there. And that subsided in about 10 minutes, and I thought, well, whatever it was, I think I had it, and I think it's gone. So this was this first experience, and I tried I asked my guides, I said, whoever could give power like that to a drawing on a piece of paper, if they can do it, I can do it. We can all do. God has given us all the power. And so I asked my guides, how do you do that? And so they said, you decide what you want the glyph to do, write it down on a piece of paper, draw the picture, and then have a ceremony. And I thought, ceremony, okay. I was a Catholic. Prayer, candle, I know ceremony, okay. And so I tried a few, energy, joy, and nothing really happened. Then a friend called me and said she had broken a glass bowl, and a piece of glass went deep in her foot, and she got the glass out, and it was 2 weeks later, and it was very badly infected. She said it had necrotic tissue. It was so badly, it had an odor to it. It was so bad. And she said, I don't want antibiotics. What can I do? And I said, Kathy, would you be willing to do a little experiment with me? I'm going to do a glyph to see if we can heal your foot. She said, okay. And so I drew 2 glyphs, one to resolve the bacterial infection and one to speed the healing. And I emailed them to her. And the next morning she said, wow. She said, I think these are working. She said, the pain is gone, the swelling is gone, and it was on its way to healing. She said the redness was gone. And so then I knew I was onto something. And I realized the reason I couldn't get a glyph to get the joy, I realized we all are carrying a lot of emotional baggage with us. And so I thought, first thing I did was create a glyph to remove fear. And when I did that, I put that glyph against my solar plexus, and I could feel stuff being drawn out of me, out of my arms, out of my breasts. And so I continued to work with that. I made one to remove anger and resentment, being married to an alcoholic. I had plenty of that. And just kept on to remove the sadness, to remove the heartache, to all the different, to remove the guilt and the shame that we often have instilled in us as children. And I was a basket case at the beginning. I mean, I was depressed. And as I said, I was fearful. And the more I used them, the better I felt. The depression left, and the fear gradually subsided. And I really felt a tremendous relief. And I just kept on. I created one to remove bacterial and virus infections, one to detoxify the body, and I just kept on. Whatever came to me, I created a glyph for. And I never intended to write a book. Some people feel like, oh, I want to write a book. I want to write a book. People want to hear about my life. And I did not want to write a book. And I would meet people, and they said, I think you're supposed to write a book. I thought, no. And I'd meet somebody else, and they said, I think I'm kidding. You're supposed to write a book. No. But then my guides became very pronounced about telling me I need to get these out there where people could use them and get healing. And that was my first. Go ahead.
How does one get a hold of your book?
Through Amazon or my website at drjeanlogan.com. And that was my first book. It's called Unlocking the Power of Glyphs.
Yeah, that's a very, very powerful book. I even used the fear glyph and the I think it's trust glyph, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know them right off the bat like that, but yes, I use the glyphs as well, and they are a definite tool in the toolbox or in your spiritual toolbox. So, Jean, how does one access? Well, I understand that there is one to do or a glyph to align the chakras. And I don't remember which book it's in, but where does one lay that glyph at to align the chakra?
I put that on the solar plexus. The solar plexus is like the Grand Central Station.
Okay.
And that through the solar plexus, it will access the energy for all the others. It's the key point when people use the emotional. The first book has many emotional healing glyphs, and I tell people to start with putting them on the solar plexus. Unless they are, for some reason, I always tell there is no wrong way to use these glyphs. If you get some guidance to use it somewhere else, I don't care if it's underneath your big toe, then go ahead and do it, because we are all getting guidance of some sort and we all have intuition. But I think for beginners, to just put one or two on the solar plexus is a good place to start. After you use them a while, like when you get into the second book where you have glyphs for circulation problems or a heart problem, if you have using healing your heart, you would put the glyph behind your heart on your back of your heart chakra. Or the lungs would be the same place on the back of the heart chakra. And healing for reproductive system, it would be on the sacral chakra. So a lot depends upon what the glyph is.
Very interesting. Very interesting. So we have some callers here that would like to speak with yourself and myself, and how we normally do it, Jean, is they normally pop in with a question, and if you don't get a feel on the question right off the bat, you can always pass it on to me. Just remember that. But let's go ahead and bring on our first phone caller, and this is one of a regular caller to the Magical Journey show, and her name is Jay. Jay, can we have your question, please?
Hi, hello. I wanted to find out if you and your guest can read my energy and see what I need.
Well, what issues do you have?
Not that I could recall right now, but if you could pick up anything for me.
I see you having a lack of patience. You're out there seeking, and you're not looking within.
What am I not seeing?
No, you're not seeking within. I think some time in meditation would be a very valuable thing.
Okay.
Yes. what she's getting at, Jay, is she's getting at that there's been a lot of seeking going on, and that I'm finding out with a lot of people, that there is a lot of seeking. And the seeking is just trying to find your way back to a home or a comfy spot on your spiritual path, is what I'm believing she's trying to say. So that's a little bit of going back to what you're comfortable with. It's not always about looking for something new, but if I would have to say, if you have any blocks, I don't feel any blocks within your physical chakra, but I do feel a little bit of it's kind of like a congestion in the head chakras, like the third eye and the crown, due to a little bit of confusion. I don't know what exactly you're confused about, but I sense there's a little bit of confusion.
Yes.
Okay, so kind of quiet down your mind and look within and see exactly what you may see, or what you may hear, or what you may feel.
Okay.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right. Thank you for calling, Jay, and you have a wonderful evening.
You too. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, Dr. Jean. So with your, so you have a deck of cards out, and I actually own the cards, and I find them very useful. What are some of the uses with your card deck?
I find the best. I advise them for people who already have some of the books, because the books is where the power. The cards. Each card has one glyph on it. In the book, each glyph has a cover page, which a large picture of the glyph, and it tells about it, and it has an affirmation. Then there's what's called a patch page, and the patch page has 16 of that one glyph, and you can use them. Like you could cut them down the middle and have 8 under your feet at night, like for detoxifying the body or healing it in some way, or circulation problems. And the cards won't work for that, but they're good to shuffle up, and where you draw one, and that will refer you to what one to use in the book. They do have energy to them, but not the way the book does, where you have 16 that you could use in different parts of the body. You would not want to tape, in the glyphs you would tape one to your solar plexus, but you would not want to do that with your cards, because you would ruin them. They're nice cards.
Okay, very interesting. So we have another phone caller, and we're going to go to phone caller 856, area code 856.
Hi, this is Laura.
Hey, Laura, how are you?
Hello, Laura.
Okay. Hi, how are you?
Good.
What is your question, dear?
So are you able to tell me when you see I'm looking for work, and are you able to tell me that when you see that coming through?
Work? All right, so I can give you a timeline. Now, what's your first name, sweetie?
Laura.
Laura. All right. Okay, so I am seeing anywhere from 4 to 16 days, and for some reason I just saw 7. So on this, they were giving me in between 4 and 16, but they showed me and told me it cleared up to 7. So within 7 days.
Within 7 days.
Can I give a little bit of a suggestion here?
Yeah.
Remember now, we all create our own reality.
Mm-hmm.
What you want to come from is the thought not like, I need a job, but I have a job. Time is not what we think it is. That job is out there. That job for you is there. So what you would want to do is see that in your mind. See yourself working somewhere. See them handing you your paycheck. And as you put that out, that will come into being. It probably will happen in the same time frame Bryan talks about. But see it happening. It's already there. That is already there. And that's the important thing to do. It's just to believe that it's already there.
Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I'll turn my
Thank
focus now.
You.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye. Okay. So, Jean, in the first book, there are dowsing diagrams in the back, and that is using with pendulums, correct? And
Right.
Now, a lot of people probably have not saw these diagrams before, but can you explain a little bit about the diagrams and how they work?
Right. They look like a fan, and the numbers for the glyphs are on each little rung out there of the fan, and it gives instructions on there where you would hold the pendulum right at the center, and then when starting chart dowsing that you've never done before, you do a little practice where you first of all you get your pendulum and teach it where your yes and no is, which direction yes and no is. But when you're on a chart, you swing it deliberately in, let's say you swing it over there to where 2 o'clock might be, and you say, okay, if this is the answer right here where the 2 o'clock is, this is what I want you to do. And then you swing it over to the other side to a point, and you said, this is where I want you to go. And then you start and you say, which glyph would be most beneficial for me right now? And it will swing in the direction of the number of the glyph. Then there's a second chart that tells you where to put the glyph. There is some brief instructions there, but I encourage everyone to learn dowsing, and you'll really want to go and find a regular book for dowsing. And I believe I've recommended one that in the book, because dowsing is a powerful tool that can be very helpful for different things. Although I tell people when they start using the book to just start using all of the emotional healing glyphs on the solar plexus, one or two at a time, because we've had hundreds of past lives, and this will start clearing things not only from the present life but from past lives. So it's like the layers of an onion. As you remove the outer layers and you slowly get, after you remove all the layers inside, that's who you really are. And there's a lot of people out there, they don't know who they are or why they're here, what their mission is. And I did not either when I started. And as I started using the glyphs and used them more and more, it was like the unfolding of a rose. It was just all of a sudden the beauty and the shape is there, and you know, I know what I'm here for. Your mission will unfold in front of you.
Exactly. Now we're going to go on to a next phone caller. Get to a next phone caller, and then we're going to come back. And I have a very important question about how the suggested affirmation works. But before we do that, let's go to the 86 area code. 860 area code. First name and question. Hello, how are you?
Good, and you?
Wonderful. Wonderful. What is your question, my dear?
My name is Amla, and I was wondering what you see for me, and in the sense of where might this be going with this. Can I just say the initial of this guy named Jay? That's the initial.
Okay.
J and his the last name initial is G.
Okay.
So J.
All right.
Yeah.
Give me just a second.
Mhm.
Jean, if you want to jump in, you're more than welcome. You are more than welcome to.
I'm just going to tell you what my first instinct was, and I could be wrong, but I feel like this is not the person for you. I feel like there's somebody better out there for you, waiting in the wings, and this will come, and you need to do some work on yourself where you really feel good about yourself. You really love yourself, and you developed your self-confidence, and that way you'll attract a man with a higher energy.
Okay.
That was my first instinct.
Okay.
And my impression is I'm going to have to go on with Jean's impression as well, because too much is going on with him all at one time. There's a decision that he has to make, as well as a decision that you have to make. And I feel as if you need to consider a more of a open, playful approach, and don't get exclusive. If you're going to be friends with him and see him, date him, that's perfectly fine. But don't think of it as something that is going to be or turn into something very romantic and strong.
Okay. Can I ask you just to add? Do you see if when I get stronger, and I'm loving myself, like when this might happen, another person coming in?
I'm saying in between 6 and 8 months. That's if you allow for him to, or if you allow for yourself to kind of let go of the current JG guy.
Got it. Okay. All right. Sounds good.
All right.
Yes.
But you're going to have to let go, and you're going to have to let go and surrender, dear.
Okay, I understand that. So I'm just going to surrender. Let go, let God.
Yeah, it sounds about right. But just trust. Just trust.
Okay.
And Jean actually has a wonderful glyph that is glyph number 2, and it works like a charm.
I strongly suggest that first book of mine, because you have more than, it's just more than trust. I see other issues within you that need to be resolved. You need to work through some emotional issues, and those glyphs would help pull a lot of that emotional issues out. And when it does that, a lot of light comes in, and then you will be lighter. And as you are lighter, you will attract people who are in that light also. Okay.
Well, thank you. What's your website again?
Dr. Jean, that's DrJeanLogan.com.
Okay. Thank you.
Right.
Thank you, honey.
Okay.
Thank
Take care.
you. Okay, so Jean, now this suggested affirmation that is underneath the 4 rows of symbol, or 4 rows of glyphs in your book, and it says the suggested affirmation. Can you explain that and the power of it? Is it kind of like a on and off switch?
It's a prayer or affirmation, and it's just often worded to remind us of our power and of God within us. God is within every one of us. We are divine. And this is to help us pull in and access that divinity. And sometimes people ask me, do I have to say the affirmation? And I tell them, you don't have to do anything. When you buy the book, you don't have to do anything if you don't want to. But when you say the affirmation, it does have energy to it. And if you have time and you can, I think it's a good idea to say the affirmation. But oftentimes, if you're just sticking a glyph on you when you're ready to crawl into bed, maybe you don't want to bother to do that. but it's a nice thing to do, and it's just a little prayer to pull in that energy. But at least sometimes I say, and I intend this glyph to remove my fear or something. It's just a little something, but it's not necessary. There are no rules. When I tell people, there's no wrong way to use the glyphs.
Exactly. Now, so I see that you do, or you have extensive knowledge in many types of alternative healing. What other types of alternative healing do you do other than use the glyph?
Well, I've learned a lot. I mean, I went through Reiki and became a third level of Reiki and pranic healing, which anybody who wants to do hands-on healing, it's not necessarily, it's nice if you can take a class, but there's some like pranic healing, you just buy the book and you study from the book, but it's good to work with people, and certainly classes always make a big difference, and they can help. And I think, Bryan, you teach Reiki, isn't that right?
Yes, ma'am, I do. Yes,
right.
Ma'am, I do.
So it's good that people can take, if they have wanted to take the class. But I also learned body talk, and there were about I would say I learned about a half a dozen different type of energy healing things. But I also studied as I went to school and went back and got my PhD. I learned healing with sound and healing with color, and there's many different things that have energy to them, and can heal. Sound is very powerful, and color is very powerful. And so I've learned a lot of different types, and there's lasers, and nowadays there's so many different types of things that do tremendous work.
Yes, indeed. Indeed, there is. Okay, so we're going to go to our next phone caller, and our next phone caller is 717. 717, can you please have your first name and question?
Good evening, Bryan. Good evening, Dr. Jean. This is Corrine.
Good evening.
How are you tonight? Hello.
Wonderful.
My question is exactly like Jay, your first caller. I wanted to know if you saw anything that would help me clear myself at this time. Anything in particular that would come up.
And feel free, Jean, if you want to jump in as well.
I'm just seeing a shadow in your energy there. It's difficult to discern this quickly. I see fear in you. I see some fear that has to be removed. And I also see some sadness.
Okay. All right. So, Karina, I get some energy within the solar plexus. All right, some solar plexus energy around power, overpowering, overwhelming change, possibly getting ready to come through. So what they're asking me to do is they're asking me to is a light language activation to help with changing the energy of fear changing the energy of fear within the DNA and using it to manifest activity in your reality. So we're going to do this blessing, and just take a deep breath in. De alura kuno kushato kusamakieta rin ekuna kadaai. O urama ja tori neati dok unakiata o kuto usta jakaki el esto rakotu. De dore kiena e dore makai. Basta te en enu And bring the energy up into your root chakra, your sacral, your solar plexus, your heart, your throat, your third eye, down into your weather drains at the back of the head, up and out the crown chakra, doubling back into the fourth eye, bending down into the pineal gland all the way down through the Shoshana, activating the exhale bliss for Activator. And how are you feeling, Corinne?
Lighter. Definitely
Wonderful.
lighter. Thank you.
Wonderful.
Thank you so much. I appreciate
You
your
are
guidance.
so
And Dr. Jean, I'll check out your first book because it does. I just went to your website and it looks really interesting. I can't wait to get a hold of a copy.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Okay, Corinne, you have a wonderful evening, and thank you for calling into the show.
And thank you so much, Bryan. And endless blessings to both of you always.
Thank you,
so
Corinne.
much.
Same to you.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we are going to go on to our next phone caller, and the area code is 832. Area code 832.
Hi, my name is Fallon.
Hello, how are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having this session. So my question is, I have a friend, my best friend, and throughout the years, we never really made it anything romantically, but I'm at a point to where is it possible that we should turn it into a romantic relationship? His name is Lorenzo.
I think you need to start spreading yourself around a little bit because I think there's someone you need to be swept off your feet by someone who really sees the value of you, someone who really honors who you are. Not to saying that this fellow doesn't. It's just he's been dragging his feet all this time. You deserve a little more excitement in your life.
Okay.
And I think that's going to be coming down the road if you give the opportunity. And work on yourself. Work on who you are and be what you want to be. And then honor yourself. And love yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's somebody more exciting down the road.
Okay.
Brian, what do you see?
Okay, well, I do feel as if Lorenzo is definitely someone that could have potential, but you have definitely a decision here because I see two paths. And I see that one path could be you and Lorenzo, and then the other path could be you and you going down this path alone to an extent to where you actually start having more self-worth, having more self-creative ideas, and actually having something to actually call your own if you choose to walk down that path. And I feel that this path will come directly after the new year when the new portal opens in March of 2017.
Oh, great.
Okay.
That's perfect
So,
right now.
So when that happens, just think of this, or kind of think of this guidance that you have received this evening.
Okay, I will. Thank you both so much.
You are very welcome.
Yeah.
Okay, Jean. So, tell the callers on how to get your book and how to possibly follow you and contact you possibly about having a or following you and following your book. How would one do that?
Well, I have videos on YouTube at Holy Ground Farm. That's all one word. And the book, as we said before, the book is on Amazon. And my website also tells a lot about the book. And I'm frequently on different webinars. And if you go to the website, you can get on there's a free glyph there. There's 2 free glyphs. And you can go ahead and try one out so you can understand what they look like, how they work. And then you can also sign up for my newsletter. And that I just sent one out. I don't know if you noticed it, Brian, where I talked about one of the most powerful things that helps with healing your pets. The glyphs can literally save hundreds and thousands of dollars in vet and medical bills because they can take the place of so many different things. That they're better than medication for depression, and they can also be better than counseling for a lot of people because sometimes you can go to years of counseling and not really get very far. And the glyphs will remove things in the body that the glyph doesn't need to know what it is. It doesn't have to dig into your past and find out what the deep, dark secrets you're hiding. It just removes whatever sadness or guilt or anger that you're feeling inside. And they can be used in so many ways. You can put one on your forehead for healing a nerve damage. You can put one on your crown chakra, even for healing the injured brain. But they really work wonderful on pets because pets are not full of judgment. They can help. Like, for example, a rescue animal is full of a lot of fear of abandonment and a lot of sadness. And so you just put the glyph on either the pet or on a surrogate. The glyphs can be used on a surrogate, too. I put them on, like my dog had started getting dementia where he was defecating in the house and wandering around like a zombie. And I put some glyphs on his crown. I've got pictures where the chakras are on people and the animals, and I put a glyph for healing his brain and for detoxifying the brain on his the head of the teddy bear, and for brain injury. And right away he never defecated in the house again, and within about 48 hours he was back to normal. So they can be really great for healing. And if you can put them right on a dog, a short-haired dog, but if you have a cat, then it's sometimes better to put them on a surrogate or put them in the cat's bed or, whatever works.
Yeah. Okay, so we have one more caller, and I'm going to see if we can fit her in before our time is up. So we're going to go on to 719, area code 719.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Oh, I'm good, Brian. How are you? This is Linda.
Hey, Linda. What can we help you with, my dear?
Well, hi, Dr. Logan. This is really interesting. In fact, the part about the animals is really interesting, too. What I called to ask you about is I do some work with Bryan, and when you were talking about your childhood and growing up, how fearful you were, it's the same way for me. I was the same way. I was afraid of everything. And it's kind of developed into some really pretty good anxiety that kind of plays itself out as physical things for me. I was just wanting to know if you picked up anything specific about that. I've already decided I'm going to get the book, but I just thought I'd see what you would pick up.
Yeah, I can actually pick up a lot more than just fear. and you need to put a one on your throat chakra too. The emotional healing glyphs will definitely help you. I'm so glad you're getting a book because you're a number one candidate, and you'd be surprised how it can change your life. Not overnight, because it's like I said earlier, it's like the layers of an onion. You can't just get them all off at once, and you've had many past lives. But I actually feel such energetic potential in you that is just kind of masked right now by all these anxieties and issues. And when you are able to free yourself of those and use the glyphs, you'll want to use them 2 or 3 every night for a while after you get the book. And it will be kind of just like you're like a rosebud that's tight closed. I mean, tight closed. And then as you use that and remove those things, it slowly opens where you just see the little color peeking out. And it'll just keep, and within a few months, you will unfold like just a gorgeous flower. I see such potential in you.
Thank you. I feel like a lot of this stuff is just covering up what I'm here to do.
Right. And you're here to do a lot.
I haven't decided what that is yet. So
you won't need to decide. It will tell you.
Well, it
will just unfold.
Right. Okay. Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I told you, Linda.
I know you did. This is very interesting. I'd never heard of this before, Bryan, so I'm really glad I tuned in. So thank you both very much.
You're there for a reason, sweetie. You're there for a reason.
I know it. Thank you. Thank you, Doctor.
Okay, thank you. I want to point out these are not my glyphs. These come from the divine. Everything is given to me. The programming is given to me. It's God wants us to be healed. He wants us to remove what is holding us back.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
And Dr. Jean, you again, Dr. Jean's website is a place where you can buy all of her products. And if Dr. Jean also sells on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and I believe, what's the other one? Yes, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and
it's the website.
Yeah, and the website. Definitely check out her book.
Yeah. There may be other bookstores out there too, right? Every metaphysical bookstore, if they don't have it in, they will get it in stock very quickly because their distributor sells to all the metaphysical bookstores.
Wonderful. And are you going to be a guest on any telesummits or radio shows that you would like to announce, just in case people would like to follow you?
Yes, I haven't got the date right now. I just received a thing today. They're asking me to pick out a date, so I haven't done that yet. But on my website, it has a calendar, and I'll have it posted on my calendar.
Okay, perfect. And that is www.drjeanlogan.com. And we would like to
get a free glyph there. And also sign up for my newsletter because I will announce them. Like this one here, I've just put out a newsletter and I had this announced there. And I was just on a show 2 days ago. So I will put what shows I'm going to be on.
Perfect. Wonderful. And thank you so much, Dr. Jean, for being a guest on the Magical Journey Show. We would like to have you back as a regular guest if you would like to. And
I'd love to.
Wonderful. And thank you so very much for being our very special guest.
Oh, thank you so much, Bryan, for having me. My love to everybody out there and many, many blessings.
Thank you so very much. And remember, all callers, thank you so very much for calling in and asking your questions. I would like to thank Tiffany White Sagewoman for producing my show. I would like to also make a couple of quick announcements before time is up. And next week we have Rachel Teawano all the way from Australia. And somehow, some way, we will make it happen. Just believe in us. Because I know Blog Talk Radio is a little wacky with Skype callers and stuff like that. So we're going to see exactly how that goes. But I would like to also let you all know that in December there is a very special guest that I will be having. She is a what I like to call a grandmother storyteller. So that's going to be very exciting. I actually worked with her today, and that was absolutely mind-blowing. But all of you wonderful callers that would like to get a hold of me, you are more than welcome to go to my website, which is www.imagicaljourney.com. You can go to my blog at www.bryanrawls.com, and you can also call my office at 586-659-9620. And you can also catch me on Skype at Angelic1, that is ANGELIC ONE13. And you can also find me on Facebook. And thank you all. You all have a wonderful day, and let angel wings guide your dreams. Blessed be, and namaste. Bye now.
We were born to sob and to howl, to shudder and shriek, to jump up, crack up, scream our lungs out, and be left speechless. This is the good stuff in life, and the all-new Contour from Cox helps us get right to it. Just say what you want, and your TV finds it. Speak, find, feel, and get right to the good stuff. Available to residential customers in select Cox service areas. Advertised features available with Cox Contour 2 digital receiver. Professional installation required. Other conditions apply. We were born to sob and to howl, to shudder and shriek, to jump up, crack up, scream our lungs out, and be left speechless. This is the good stuff in life, and the all-new Contour from Cox helps us get right to it. Just say what you want, and your TV finds it. Speak, find, feel, and get right to the good stuff. Available to residential customers in select Cox service areas. Advertised features available with Cox Contour 2 digital receiver. Professional installation required. Other conditions apply.